At this point of time, I want to actually, talk to some of our coaches. It'll be really great. We'd like to have a quick conversation with Samya and Namita, who've actually been on this with us. Hi, Namita. Hi, Samya. You can unmute yourselves. So, while I've spoken to all our viewers, given everyone a bit of an insight into, what's really achievable for people just like us, right? I mean, we're regular people having the same kind of issues. And so why would it be easy for someone like them to do it? But I'd like to get your perspective as a health coach. You've been doing this, you've been coaching people for a while. But really, Namita, and this question goes to you. You're making a huge impact in our country today. You're leading a team of a lot of health coaches. But in your opinion, what is it really, as being an example as a health coach, what is your opinion about what is it that your perspective on that as being an example?
Thank you, Natasha. First of all, let me congratulate you. I've loved every minute of your presentation and to present it in such a crisp manner. You are an example of the program in Great Health, and it's just such a pleasure to be on your program today. I think, look, for us, and I'm sure Samya will agree, unless you are an example, how are you going to make an impact on anyone else? You've got to walk the walk and lead the way. It's exciting also because being healthy is exciting. And I think that's where my journey started, correcting our son's health, correcting our own health. And then you've got this platform where you can be significant and you can impact people positively. But it all starts by being an example of good health and being the program yourself. Yeah, I hope I answered that, Natasha.
Thank you, Namita. That was helpful. Yeah. Samya, my next question is to you. What's the kind of results that you've had with this program? And, why do you think it's such an important thing for people today to actually, somebody with a lifestyle condition to actually go in for it?
So the results I got was initially, coming from a fitness background, was very, needed to lose weight, wanted to, look like an instructor, was very skeptical about, these other weight loss programs out there. But here, the results that I got was lost about 10 kilos, 30 inches, but it's not just about losing weight. It's more about your aspirational goals as to what is it going to enable you to do, which was most important. And what I found is why anybody with a lifestyle condition would get on is because this is, in the end, it's not a weight loss program. It's more of a metabolic adjustment and it's a lifestyle change. So helping you prevent lifestyle disease. And in the process, you do drop weight only if you're carrying extra weight. So you don't have to be overweight to be on the program either. You can be underweight and put on muscle weight if you want to do that. So it works both ways, but it all depends on what your health concerns are, that the program is customized according to your needs, which is also very, very, it's very good that you can customize it.
Great. Thanks, Samya. Namita, this question is for you. There are lots of programs out there and, we all know how temporary they are. Sometimes our program also tends to, people who get onto the program do tend, to put on the weight sometimes to some extent. What would your one key aspect, one thing that things that make actually a big difference about people for this program? What is it really that they should be doing for them to get those results sustainably long term?
It's a very interesting question, Natasha, and a very good question. And I'm asked this question quite often by people who are on the program. They're all very scared about, what happens to me after the program? Will I go back to being the weight I was? Will I put it all back again? And just like what you said, the fourth part of the program, the secret sauce, is really the change in mindset. There are many programs out there where, you can look at food, you can look at exercise, they bring it together. And the whole thing about, calorie counting, all of that. So it's not about, like Samya said, it's not about just becoming thin. It's about changing the way you think. And my sincere advice to everyone who is on the program, who's considering the program, is to listen to those audios, okay? To be part of that community. We've got WhatsApp communities. Read the daily messages and be accountable to a coach. Because what I found, Natasha, I don't know why, but people who have listened to the audios, even if the audios don't make sense, I get people saying the accent is Australian, and we've got some coaches saying they sound Australian now. But jokes apart, people who listen to the audios, they keep the weight off because the thinking has changed. And I think that's the biggest key over here. That's the biggest takeaway, and that's got to be the focus. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I'm not on the program at the moment, but just staying tuned into the audios
Yeah.
continues to make the difference. I think it really impacts you, and not just necessarily with your health, but all aspects of your life. I
Yes.
mean, you're just a better individual and a better human being because of the environment that we have
Absolutely.
access to.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Namita. Samia, being a health coach and, also with exercise and this program, I know that we have talked about supplementation, but there are a lot of people out there, in spite of, even explaining the science behind it, are still very skeptical about supplements, So in your opinion, do you want to be able to kind of tell us a little bit more about, why supplements would be really important and what's the role they really play as part of this program?
Yeah, that is a question that's really, really common across the board. But supplements, one thing is that they do not replace your food in any form, and neither do they cause weight loss. So that's the clarity that, I mean, you have to be very clear about that, because some people think that you're replacing meals and you're supplementing. So how is that going to be sustainable? But if you understand that the nutrition which in your food that your body needs, you're not getting that today because of genetic modification, pesticides, and the way our farmers are growing their fruits and vegetables, etc. So to get back that, you still have to eat your food. You have to eat your 3 meals, but what's missing in your food comes from the supplement. So it works in combination. So it's not a magic pill. You have to make changes with your food and exercise, drink adequate water, and then when you supplement, it becomes much more effective rather than just taking the supplements on their own. So it's not just about supplements, it's about making changes with your food and exercising, and of course, changing the mindset, which is the most important.
Thanks, Samia. Namita, this question goes to you. So, while we talk about us, having this program and being on the 6-week program, okay, Namita is unable to mute herself. Hang on. Okay, I'm hoping you can unmute yourself right now. Okay, yeah. So, Namita, the question I want to ask you is that, while we've talked about the 6-week program, we've really simplified it for our viewers. It's really not rocket science. It's a lifestyle change, and it's simple to implement. But most often, we get the question of, how do I maintain this? Or how do I sustain it long term? And, do I need to supplement long term? So could you give us a bit of an idea of typically, how do we maintain this? What is, what's maintenance really all about if we do get onto this program? Because is it easy? Is it sustainable? And what can, will it just continue to keep the weight off?
Yeah. Great question again, Natasha, because, this is what somebody is always thinking about. How do I maintain? How do I keep it off? And that's why the whole program in the 6 weeks, I would like to call this a habit forming program. That's what it really does. Teaches us new habits, and you're eating all the 5 food groups, but you're learning new habits. You're repeating, and it's almost got to become second nature. You're eating tasty food, but you're learning about, okay, what goes on my plate. Now, if you haven't learned anything and you treat the program as punishment, and you're waiting for the day it finishes and go back to drinking the beer and pizzas and all of that, which I don't think any of us would do, then yeah, I mean, no one can help you. But what I've found is that people start enjoying their level of fitness, their level of health, how they're feeling. And you don't want to let go of that, right? And we are helping them eat everything, but learning that, okay, in a meal, if you have abused your carbs, what do you do in your next meal? How do you actually keep it off is a good question, because the question ties into, do you want to keep it off? Okay, because what are your long-term goals? If you talk to any of us and ask us, like, mine is, I don't want to be dependent on anyone. I want to be fit. I'm 52, Natasha. In 10 years, I'm going to be 62 years old. And I want to outdo my physical fitness goals that I'm achieving now, right? So if that's important to me, then I'm going to learn. I'm going to educate myself. I'm going to learn. And that's where sustainability comes in. So it's not about giving up on food, but it's about learning how to eat right. And that's been the biggest focus about this of this program is education. So if you can focus on education, if you can learn, work closely with your coach, and 6 weeks, neural pathways form. If you're really part of the program, start to learn, start to implement, then I find, look, at least I would use a percentage of at least 80% of people who come on the program, and we coach them, they learn, continue to enjoy good health even later. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, while you've already covered it in just learning how to eat right, supplementation is part of that. It's not like you
Yeah.
ever stop supplementing, because the food is
Yeah.
going to always be depleted in nutrition.
Absolutely.
And supplements become as equally an important part of that, just like walking 10,000 steps every day or
Absolutely.
drinking water,
But
all of that
here,
together.
Natasha, something that I'd like to add, especially for people who are here on this platform today for the very first time. And if you're like me, I was skeptical. I wanted to get everything from my food. And when Louise spoke to me about lifelong supplementation, the one thing she said, which was really interesting, she said, look, get started, educate yourself, and along the way, you will make your own decisions. And I loved that, because then it was my decision, my education. We've been supplementing for over 2 decades, but I do know of people who choose some. So keep an open mind, learn new things, because when we learn new things, we grow. And just like you said, yeah, I mean, it does bridge the nutritional gap, but we hear you, we know how you can be skeptical about it. And that's why we are here to help you, to educate you. Yeah.
Thanks, Namita. So, we're almost almost out of time. I have a few more slides to go, but before we end, before we go back into the presentation, a quick line from you, Samya, for somebody who's contemplating, wanting to get onto the program, what would be your one takeaway to them?
I would say, what are you waiting for? I mean, if they have a health goal or concern that they really want to achieve for themselves, then there should be nothing stopping them from getting onto the program. But that needs to be clear in their mind, that what their health goal is.
Thanks, Samya. Namita, would you like to kind of sum up and if there's something that one thing that you would want to tell people about this program and why they should do it?
I think health is our own responsibility. We can't blame others. And when there's a program out there that's teaching you to make the right decisions, then like Samya said, what are you waiting for? Get started, and let's make this year our year of good health. Huh, Natasha? I think that sounds catchy enough. All right. Thanks, Natasha. Thank you so much for having us on this session.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And that was really helpful, getting a coach's perspective on how the program works and what we're really, going out there to do.